Hey, I'm Russ Jones. Welcome back to Smoky Ribs. Today I'm going to be doing a recipe that was sent to me by Norman Johnson. He's one of my YouTube subscribers, and he also happens to be a fellow Mississippian. I've never met Norman, but I would love to one day. He lives probably 3.5, 4 hours from the coast here where I live. Now, he sent me through a text message a recipe. Actually, he gave me a picture of a recipe card that his dad owns that was given to him from this restaurant called the Hilltop restaurant in Miles, Mississippi. It's an actual recipe to a special sauce that they used in their restaurant back when it was open. Now, Norman has made this, and he told me just how awesome it was and really encouraged me to make it, so I decided to do it and make a video of it. He also told me he used it on a hamburger recently and talking about how good that was. So that really got me thinking. I'm like, I'm going to do a hamburger, but I'm going to take it all the way back down to Southern Roots, Mississippi right here. We're going to do it old school. And just stay tuned. I'm going to show you how we're doing that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started by putting this special sauce together, the Hilltop special sauce. And what it calls for, first ingredient would be 1.5 cups of mayo. Now into the 1.5 cup mayo, we're going to add 3 cups of ketchup. It calls for 3 tablespoons of curry, 1.5 tablespoons of black pepper, 1/2 tablespoon of horseradish, 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1/2 cup of dill pickle juice, and 1/2 pint or 1 cup, same thing, of vegetable oil. Now, the last ingredient to me sounded a little strange for a sauce, but it gets 2 slices of American cheese. We're just going to break this off in here. I'm not too worried about the size that I'm pulling off because we're going to be processing it, which is going to blend it all in. And here we go. All right, let's see what we got. Looks like we're blended up really nice. Now, this is one of these things that need to sit for a couple hours at least, minimum, probably even better to make the day before. But I'm going to go ahead and give my initial taste test of this. Oh man, that's really good. I asked Norman what they primarily use this for, and he said everything from salad dressing to dipping fried shrimp to whatever. Great on a hamburger. And that's exactly why I chose today to go with a hamburger. And I can tell the way I'm going to do this hamburger, which is really going back to grassroots from the state of Mississippi, the way we used to do things and the way we used to cook here, this is really going to be outstanding. So what I done last night is I took some trimmings, beef trimmings that I got from my local Winn-Dixie here, and I cubed these up into small cubes, and at that point I put it on a real low simmer. I'm talking about just a flicker, and I let this render for like 5 hours until basically all the fat was gone and completely rendered. And you do want to stir this occasionally as well. But anyway, afterwards I strained this out, getting rid of any particles such as that, and what you end up with was a real pretty yellowish clear liquid. And from there I let it sit on the counter overnight, and it solidified into what is called beef tallow. They also make candles and they make soap with this product, a byproduct of beef, but it's excellent to cook with. All right, I'm going to be cooking a few things with this beef tallow here in just a few minutes, so let's go ahead and get started with that. All right, here we go. This is after 4 hours of rendering, And I had quite a few of this fat. I just rendered down what I thought I'd be using for this cook. This would be more than enough for what I've got planned today. And by the way, this stuff keeps really well. It's got a nice shelf life. What you do have to do is cover this to keep oxygen from getting to it, and it will not go rancid for a long, long time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this ground beef. I bought this. This is 73% lean, 27% fat, which I personally like better on a burger because it has more of a fat content, which is really going to ensure that this is going to be juicy. Plus, it's going to be cooking in nothing but pure beef fat. So we're just going to we're going to press these out to where they're around a 1/4 inch thick. We want them kind of thin. And you want them bigger than your bun, because with this much fat in here, there is going to be some shrinkage. Go ahead and get one done for you and show you about how I want them all to look, and I'll go ahead and get the rest of these put together. All right, that's looking pretty good right here. That's about what I'm looking for. About the right thickness, around a 1/4 inch. All right, let me see how many patties I can get out of this meat here. A Mississippi Blues burger. When I was thinking of this in my head, I'm like, it wouldn't be complete without a fried green tomato somewhere on that burger. So what I've got here is around a cup of buttermilk. I'm going to season this up with some salt, a little salt, a little black pepper. Now this is something I grew up with. This has been around this is probably one of the first seasons that you could actually buy outside of like individual garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper. As far as a packaged deal, this is the first one that I remember growing up. Tony Chachere's. So we're going to go in probably around tablespoon and a half of that. That looks good. Give all this a good mix. We're just going to let these green tomatoes hang out in here for a bit. Oh, I almost forgot one key ingredient for these green tomatoes is going to be this Louisiana hot sauce. This too has been around for as long as I can remember, this particular brand. I'm going to go in probably around 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons. Kick it up. Alright, so I'm going to set these off to the side here and just let these hang out. Now what I've got in here is I've got 1 cup of cornmeal, I've got 1 cup of regular all-purpose flour, and there again I'm going to be using this Tony Chachere's to season this batter up. I'm going to take my beef fat here, my beef tallow, and I'm going to distribute it between these 2 cast iron skillets. Hamburgers will be going in this one, so I'm not going to need as much. I'm going to start with this right here. I'll be doing the fried green tomatoes in the deeper one. Now the thing about the hamburgers, and the reason I don't need as much, of course they'll be rendering their own fat as well. I'm just mainly wanting enough in there to really add some of that beef flavor to them. Might go in with just a tad more. Now the really cool thing about using this, like I said, it's got a really good long shelf life. It's really worth it just rendering it yourself. It's so easy to do. And after the cook, you can strain it out. After it cools down a bit, strain it out and just store it. Alright, I have salted and peppered one side of these burgers, so we're going to go ahead and lay it in our beef fat there. Go ahead and salt and pepper the back side. Like I said, you could strain all this out, and by cooking these hamburgers in this is going to make that tallow even that much more seasoned over time. You could cook with the same tallow for quite a few cooks. All right, over in this other skillet, I'm gonna go ahead and get these fried green tomatoes going. I've got one pulled out of the buttermilk. I just coated it with the flour and cornmeal mixture. Going in. I promise you one thing. Cooking these in this beef tallow versus vegetable oil, it's gonna be like daylight and dark. All right, this is the last patty. This is the one I'm going to go on with this burger right here. Try to get you some of that fat on that bun. Let's put some burgers together. Going to make a double cheeseburger here. Don't that look good? From here, I'm going to add me a slice of onion. Or two. Go on one of these fried green tomatoes. Ooh, they hot. There ain't but one more thing to go, and this is some of this Hilltop special sauce that we made at the beginning. That is going to be some kind of fine with that tomato. Put a cap on it. A little garnish. We're ready to do a taste test. I can't take it no more. I'm getting ready to dive in. Let's remove these little Gershon pickles here. Gonna have to press this down. Oh, look at the juices pouring out of that. I always tend to make these burgers much bigger than what I can put around my mouth there. So, oh man, smell that. Here we go. Oh man, that's fine. The fat off of these burgers are just going into this bread. It's really awesome. Great flavors. This special sauce from Hilltop Restaurant, big thumbs up on that. I'll be using that on numerous things. It's great on this burger. It would be great on a lot of things, just like Norman Johnson told me. I want to thank Norman Johnson for sending me that recipe. I sure appreciate it. Hope you give this a try. Until next time, smoke your ribs.